Hey guys, it's good to be back. It's Wednesday, so I'm here, and I hope that you enjoy our time together this week. And I hope you leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything you'd like for me to talk about. For this week, we're going to talk about wisdom. And if you're like me, you've probably given a lot of thought to it throughout your life at different stages. When you're like a student, thinking of where you want to go to college, hoping for wisdom to know who to date or what school to go to, and then when you get to your school of choice, you decide what to major in, which feels like a ton of pressure because the rest of your life seems to be riding on these decisions. And as you go through school, you begin looking for someone to marry, what groups to join, and all of these things you pray for wisdom or hope for wisdom. And then you get out of college and you hope again for the wisdom to know where you need to live, what job you need to get, when to start a family, and how many kids to have, and all of the things of life that require our decision. And we hope that the decision we make is based out of wisdom. It's funny to me that as a child, a big compliment that anyone could give me is, "Oh, you're wise beyond your years." And then as I was around older people and my grandparents and other elderly people, it was the great benefit of aging is wisdom. And so I thought about this theme going through life, that everybody's hoping to have some kind of wisdom. And then the thought came through 1 Corinthians chapter 1, where Paul is writing. And he says that the Jews search for a sign, but the Greeks search for wisdom. And that the message of Christ crucified was foolishness and a stumbling block. A stumbling block to the Jews because they're looking for a sign, and it wasn't a beaten up, bloodied, dead Messiah. And wisdom for the Greeks wasn't that people would be liberated and set free, and that real life would be found in this kind of God, this kind of Messiah. And so Christ crucified for the Greek who's searching for wisdom is foolishness. And we spend our lives looking for wisdom. And yet the beauty of 1 Corinthians 1 and the beauty of what Christ accomplished on the cross is found in verse 30, where it says, "By God's doing, by Him alone, we were made alive in Christ. And Christ in us has become for us wisdom from God." So as you go through your day trying to figure out what to do with the stock market or with the financial situation of our country or of your personal life, what to do with who to vote for, what to do with what you're supposed to do tomorrow or even the rest of this day, know that in Christ you have wisdom. That if you're a believer in Christ, you've been made one with Him, united in your spirit, and have received wisdom from God. And so the pressure is no longer up to you to make the choice. The pressure is no longer up to you to not fail, but rather the reality of our life is that rest is always the invitation for us. Rest in Him. Trust Him, not only to live His life in us, but to live His life through us. And see, we're never going to live out of this wisdom that we received from Christ if we continue to believe the lie that we're foolish, the lie that we are not wise. Because when we believe these lies, they play out as if they're true in our life. We begin to see it everywhere. "Oh, that was a foolish thing. I must be a fool." We see other people responding to our actions and think, "Oh, see, they even think that I'm a fool." But our reality is beyond just what we can see and feel and hear and taste and touch. The reality for us is in Christ. So if you're a believer, you're alive in Christ, the reality is that your life is spiritual, playing itself out in this physical world. I'm not saying that the physical world doesn't matter, but what I am saying is that it doesn't have to control you. You're not bound by it, and neither am I. And so instead of praying for wisdom, know that Christ has already given it to you. As Paul writes in Ephesians 1, that we've been blessed with every spiritual blessing in the heavenly places. He's already given abundant life to us. He's given everything that we could ever need. And so rest in that truth. Choose Him today over what you can see, over the fears that you feel creeping up in you from the reports that you see on TV. Choose the stable Christ who lives in you. To rest in His wisdom, to rest in His life, trusting Him not just to live in you, but to live through you in your world. And you'll begin to experience the abundant life that's yours in Christ. And may you and I today live dependent on Christ, who has united Himself with us in our spirit, making us alive and bringing with us so many things. One of those things being wisdom. I hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about these thoughts, and also let me know what you'd like to talk about in the future. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Grace and peace.